OpenAI, they're the company behind, well, everyone's favorite AI chatbot these days.
Right, ChatGPT.
Exactly, ChatGPT. And get this, they're now valued at a mind-blowing $157 billion.
Wow.
That's more than some entire countries are worth. We're talking about a huge change in how the tech world sees things. AI is where everyone wants to put their money now.
It's true. The amount of money going into AI is unlike anything we've ever seen.
This isn't just about one successful company. This is about a huge shift, like a seismic shift.
Yeah,
So we're going deeper than the headlines today.
absolutely.
We've got this article, OpenAI secures $6.6 billion in funding, with valuation soars to $157 billion. But we're going way beyond just the numbers.
Okay.
We're trying to figure out what this all means for the whole future of AI, How did we get here?
Well, it all comes back to ChatGPT, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Over 250 million people use it every week. Think about that.
That's incredible. It's like a whole country.
That's a lot of people plugged into this technology, and they're projecting almost $12 billion in revenue next year.
Wow.
So AI is not some futuristic thing. It's becoming part of our daily lives.
Right, and so quickly, too.
Yeah,
It feels like just yesterday, AI was this thing only tech people really talked about or even understood.
right.
Now it's everywhere. We use it every day, practically.
Well, that's exactly what's driving OpenAI's growth, this mainstream adoption.
Right.
And honestly, it's the same for the whole AI sector, not just them.
So you're saying the more people use AI, the more it grows. It's like a snowball effect.
Exactly. The more people use it, the more money gets put into it.
And here's the thing I find really interesting. They're still predicting a loss for this year. Like a big loss.
Yeah.
$5 billion. How can a company make that much money and still lose money?
Well, it's because creating AI is really expensive,
Really?
much more than most people realize.
Yeah.
You've got these large language models like the one that powers ChatGPT. Just training one of those can cost millions.
Millions of dollars
Just to train it.
just to train it. Because you need a huge amount of computing power, and then you have to factor in the people, the talent.
Yeah, of course. You need the best of the best.
Exactly. These are people with very specialized skills, and they don't come cheap.
So even with all the money they're making, they're putting it right back into research.
Yeah.
They have to, just to keep up, right?
Right. It's like a never-ending cycle. Develop, research, stay ahead of the curve. Which makes you wonder, how long can they realistically keep doing that?
It's the big question. And this is where it gets really interesting. The article mentions OpenAI might be thinking about changing their business model.
Oh, really? What kind of change are we talking about?
Right now, they're what's called capped profit, but they might switch to a for-profit structure.
Okay. Explain that like I'm 5. What does all that mean, and what would it mean for their research?
Sure. So capped profit basically puts a limit on how much profit they can make.
Interesting.
The idea is to prioritize like social benefit over just making as much money as possible.
Okay, I get it. So it's like they want to make sure AI benefits everyone, not just their bottom line.
Exactly. But a for-profit structure is all about shareholder profit coming first.
So would focusing on profits change their research goals? Would they maybe focus more on things that make money quickly instead of just doing groundbreaking research?
That's the million-dollar question. It's a tough one, right? Because, a lot of the biggest breakthroughs in AI so far, those have come from fundamental research.
Right, the kind of stuff that pushes the boundaries.
Right, exactly. Not even necessarily focused on making a product or anything like that, just pure exploration.
But that's how you get those really big leaps forward, right? The kind of things that could, I don't know, change whole industries.
Absolutely, like paradigm-shifting discoveries.
Yeah.
But those can take a lot of time and money, and there's no guarantee of a payoff, at least not a quick one.
And I guess that's where the for-profit model comes in. If you're focused on profits, you probably want to put your money into stuff that'll make money fast, right?
Right. Things that have more of an immediate application.
Like what? Give me an example.
Sure. Like developing AI assistants that are even better than what we have now. Automating more complex tasks so businesses can operate more efficiently.
Oh, so we're talking about even more personalization. Like imagine if your grocery list basically wrote itself based on what you usually buy and what's on sale.
Exactly. Or AI that writes marketing copy that's so personalized, it's practically irresistible.
Which, honestly, that's kind of already happening. Have you noticed how the ads you see online are like creepily accurate sometimes?
Yeah, for sure. AI is already shaping our online experiences in ways we probably don't even realize.
It's true. Okay, so commercially, AI is already making a big impact. But what about other areas? Like you mentioned healthcare earlier. How is AI going to revolutionize that?
Well, imagine if we had AI algorithms that could work with doctors to diagnose diseases earlier.
So instead of waiting for symptoms to show up, you could catch things before they even become a problem.
Exactly. AI could analyze your medical data, your family history, your lifestyle.
And flag potential issues years in advance. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
It could lead to faster diagnoses, more personalized treatments, maybe even cures for diseases that are really hard to treat right now.
Wow. That's pretty amazing to think about.
Yeah, it really is. And that's just one example. Think about education. What if we had AI tutors that could give every student a totally personalized learning experience?
Like a teacher for every single student, tailored to their strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly. It could transform education, especially for kids who struggle in traditional classrooms.
Okay, I have to admit, all of this is really exciting, but I'm also a little bit, you know,
Overwhelmed.
yeah, a little. It feels like we're on the verge of something huge here. Like we're standing on the edge of this massive waves of technology that's about to crash over us.
I get it. It's a lot to take in. And it's important to remember that AI is a powerful tool. Like any tool, it can be used for good or bad.
So how do we make sure it's used for good? How do we make sure it benefits everyone, not just the people who create it or the companies that profit from it?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Hmm.
And it's something that everyone involved in AI is grappling with right now.
So what's the answer? Where do we even begin to address something this big? So how do we make sure AI benefits everyone? That's a big question. Like it feels almost too big. Where do we even start?
It is a big question. But I think it starts with understanding, like you said.
Yeah.
You, me, everybody listening, we have to be aware of how AI is already in our lives.
Right, like knowledge is power, right? We can't really deal with something if we don't even know it's there.
Exactly. And AI isn't some far-off thing anymore. It's already here, deciding what you should watch on Netflix, keeping spam out of your inbox, even telling you the best way to drive home.
It's true. You're right. We don't always think about it, but it's all around us. So, okay, we need to be aware. But then what? How do we actually shape how AI develops?
By being curious, asking questions like who's making these technologies? What are they trying to achieve? Do their goals line up with what we want as a society?
So we can't just be passive. We have to be informed, engaged.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to look under the hood a bit. When you see something online, think about the algorithm that put it in front of you. Ask yourself if you're okay with how your data is being used.
It's like, for all the talk about AI, it's still us humans making the decisions.
Exactly. And that brings us back to OpenAI, this whole thing with them potentially switching to a for-profit model. It's like a perfect example of what we're talking about.
It shows how important it is to figure out what we want AI to be, because it's a tool, right? And like any tool, it can be used in different ways.
That's a great way to put it.
So if people listening today take away one thing from this conversation, what would you want it to be?
That the future of AI isn't set in stone. It's being written right now by all of us. And every single person can play a role in making sure it's a future we're all happy with.
I like that. It's a call to action. Pay attention, get involved, and help shape what AI becomes. Maybe even try out some of those AI tools you've been hearing about. You never know what you might discover.
Sounds like the plan.
Perfect. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into OpenAI and the exciting world of artificial intelligence. We'll see you next time.